morning, good afternoon, good evening. Here I am again, once again alone, doing the unboxing AI webinar series. This is part two and episode number 38 of the webinar series. You'll find us every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here. And well, this is part two of an interesting webinar series that we decided to do where we are telling the world about CARPL. Normally we have some of our partners, customers, collaborators, friends on the webinar, but we decided that we'll start off the year by talking a little bit about us and a little bit about CARPL's approach to AI deployment. And here I am. My name is Vidur. I serve as the Chief Executive Officer at CARPL, and I am going to today be talking about the exploration of AI. For those of you who don't know, CARPL is your friendly neighborhood AI platform. We have been called an AI marketplace. We have been called a single integration pipe for AI. We've been called an ML ops platform. But essentially, at the end of the day, we help drive the adoption of AI solutions within clinical workflows, especially radiology workflows. This is supposed to be very interactive, so please ask any and all questions that you'd like. I am at your disposal to answer them. Today we will be talking about, as I mentioned, the exploration of AI solutions. So I'm just going to share my screen and jump right into it. Again, it gets very lonely to do these webinars alone. So please feel free to, ask questions using the question bar or the chat box, or you can WhatsApp me, email me, whatever, any of them. So let's kick it off. Well, just a high level intro about CARPL. For those who may not know, at the end of the day, we connect AI applications with healthcare providers, addressing the elusive triple aim of healthcare, of improving the access, affordability, and quality of medical care. Just some of our USPs. We are the only FDA cleared AI platform out there. We are the world's largest AI marketplace, as per our friends at Signify Research. And we are the only platform out there that allows you to build, test, deploy, and monitor AI in clinical workflows. We are, as I mentioned, the only FDA cleared software out there. Safety and compliance is one of the core pillars for us here at CARPL. We are the only platform to have a universal AI widget. We've all seen widgets from some of the great AI companies out there. We've created one for all AI consumptions. Doesn't matter which one of these AI companies you're working with, which one of these products you're using, they can all be consumed through our universal AI widget. We have the privilege of being used by some of the world's top radiology groups. Most recently, we announced our partnership with RadNet with Deep Health, and they're going to be using us across all their centers. And lastly, and sometimes most importantly, we are infrastructure agnostic. What that means is we can be deployed on-prem, we can be a box in your office, all the way to a VM in your data center, to a hybrid cloud situation, private cloud situation, or even a public cloud situation. So with that, what is the problem we are trying to solve? Well, we are solving the problem of demand-supply mismatch of radiologists, right? There's not enough radiologists out there. I read a paper just yesterday that said that almost 60% of all radiologists are experiencing some form of burnout. Well, there's AI algorithms that are being built to automate the reading of these radiology scans, but healthcare providers, radiology clinics, etc., find it impossible to navigate this complicated ecosystem of AI that is out there. And what are those issues that they face as they look at adopting AI at scale? Again, just very quickly, it's difficult to access these AI solutions. It's a fragmented ecosystem, hundreds of AI applications out there. It's becoming easier and easier to build AI, and thereby, how can Healthcare providers even think about getting in touch with so many companies, following up on their regulation, making sure they are compliant, so on and so forth. Very, very fragmented ecosystem that is out there, and difficult to assess these solutions. How do you know that they work? And this is the part that we'll dive into today. How do you locally test these solutions? How do you estimate their clinical value, whether they even are helpful or not? Again, very elusive subject. And lastly, it's impossibly hard to integrate these solutions into your clinical workflows. Multiple risk packs integrations, multiple viewers, multiple input output standards, different types of infrastructure, just a lot of chaos out there. And that's where a platform approach like what CARPL brings to the table is essential to unlock not just incremental value, but exponential value from AI, that as it comes into our clinical workflows. Uh, we are covering in this webinar series our DevD approach. For folks from India who are listening in, this is a subtle take on Devdas. So yes, you are right. So DevD does have a link to that. But for the purposes of AI deployment, DevD refers to the process of discovery, exploration, validation, and then subsequent deployment of AI in the clinical realm. We covered up discovery last time around, where we talked about the importance of there being a single platform to figure out what all AI exists out there, why the AI ecosystem is growing at an exponential pace, how it's becoming easier to build AI. I think DeepSeek, almost beating, if I may, the world's largest AI companies is a astounding example of the democratization of the creation of AI. Today, we are going to be talking about the exploration of AI. We will go deep into it, but in a nutshell, it refers to the uh, running of AI applications on local data to estimate an AI app's clinical value. Right? It's less about the statistics and more about the intuition of is this application even useful. Then next week, we are going to go a little deep into the validation of AI, how we can perform deep clinical and statistical analysis using our platform on various AI solutions that are out there, and then we'll wrap up the session or the series with the final webinar on deployment of AI. And how we've created what we believe to be a minimalistic but highly effective user interface for the consumption of AI out there today. All of this is made possible because of our modular architecture. We have a bunch of things in our platform. I'll not go deep into this, because it can get boring very, very fast. So let's jump right in. How do you explore AI using CARPL? Well, but why do you explore AI using CARPL? Well, the short answer is there's nothing like getting your hands dirty, right? You can't be a fellowship trained MRI radiologist if you haven't played around with an MRI machine. Similarly, it is exposure to these tools that drives their adoption, and that's what exploration is all about. Why is it important? Well, healthcare providers, radiologists, chief medical officers, CIOs, everybody out there need to trust that the AI will actually deliver on the promise that is being made. Why is there a lack of trust, and why is it well founded? Well, AI has this problem of bias and lack of generalizability. What does that mean? It means that an AI solution may work really well at your institution, but not as well at my institution, because you have a Philips scanner and I have a GE scanner, and guess what? The AI was trained on Philips data. So there is this lack of generalizability, and the only way you can go around this, or you can build this trust in AI, is by running it on your data. What do we mean by testing on your data? Well, we mean testing on data from your patients, data from your machines, your environment, your disease spectrum, right? It will never be the case that an AI solution gets tested in, say, the Midwest, and then is expected to work, in Southeast Asia, right? Or even closer, right? Midwest to East Coast, there's just so many variables, both environmental, technical, patient level, that can cause confounding of these AI applications that are already, non-deterministic in their approach. So short answer, you need to test on your data, and you need to figure out, does the AI even help? At CARPL, we very closely adhere to the COF framework, which is the clinical, operational, and financial benefit framework, out of which, from an exploratory perspective, you need to be very sure that the AI will give some kind of clinical utility, right? Does it even help? Is the answer we're trying to, get to here. And then there's also operational benefits, right? You find a patient earlier, you get them treated earlier, they get discharged earlier, your ER clears up earlier, you get scheduling advantages, so on and so forth. And most importantly, and I use the interview analogy here, that, since you can be the best radiologist on the planet, doesn't mean you don't get interviewed for a job. Similarly, you can be the best AI solution on the planet, doesn't mean you shouldn't get tested. So you have to see it to believe it, is the age old, term that we use to push this. And just like you would never hire a radiologist without interviewing them, the same principle applies to AI as well. So what does exploration actually look like? Well, there's a few prerequisites, right? How can you use CARPL to explore AI? Well, first and foremost, you need to establish the data pipe, right? What is meant by this? Well, we need to get things set up in a way that you can actually get data from your packs to our platform, right? We use DICOM push. We can use an API. You can even upload data. If you have 50, 100 scans on a pen drive, on your hard disk, wherever, on your email, you can simply upload them to the platform. And then you have to answer the question, what AI do I want to run on this data? What is the number and nature of scans, of studies that I want to run through those AI, right? So, for example, you can start by saying, I want to run 50 scans through, like 50 spine MRIs through Colombo's lumbosacral MRI analysis tool. You can say, I want to run 200 chest x-rays through CureAI's chest x-ray evaluation tool, what have you, right? It can be any combination. And then you have to answer the question of, what workflow am I optimizing for, right? So am I do I want to do a work list prioritization workflow? I'll not go deep into all of the workflows because that's immense. But do I want to prioritize what scans I read first based on the criticality of findings that are in that scan? Do I want all my normals to be batched up together? Or do I simply want to use AI assistants as I report scans where the AI should show me lesions that I should look at? The very commonly used for lung cancer screening on chest CT. So once you have established this, you will have a good idea of what is it that you are looking for from an AI algorithm. And then you have to answer a very important question of who will actually look at those images, right? That has to be determined. Is it going to be a neuroradiologist looking at those CT scans of the brain, or do you want a general radiologist because they are most impacted? Or are you in an ICU setup where you need a pulmonologist to look at chest x-rays to see if they can spot a pneumothorax using using AI as a assistant? So very, very important to scope out the exploratory process, right? It's not actually that you're just left on an island and you go around and try to explore it. There is a little bit of system that you can establish here. And then, is when where we provide a single user interface for all the commercial and research AI applications that we have on the platform. We specifically say research AI applications because, one, we have many third-party apps on the platform that do not have regulatory approval right now, but does not mean that they are not worthy of being tested, right? So that is one. And the second is, we work with several healthcare providers across the world who build their own AI. And as they build their own AI, they essentially can be tested, can be, should be evaluated, should be interviewed in the same way as you would interview your own maybe resident, if that analogy still holds true. And eventually, you are looking at building an opinion about whether an AI would help in a particular situation or not. So now, before I go on to questions, I've done a little bit of work, just to show you what the platform looks like. This is the discovery aspect of the platform. These are the apps that we have on the platform. This is Mamo, this is Chest, very familiar names. We love working with all of these companies, bringing them in front of the eyes of the radiologist, you know, very very simple, very intuitive workflow that we have. You can even add your own AI, as I was describing. And then on the exploration side, typically, we will create a workflow. Let me show how that works. I created one already. You have a data set, and you create multiple deployment projects associated with that data set, like so. And then you just, drag and drop. Everything is very simple. You drag and drop a few algorithms in, you can hook them all up. I'm not going to do that right now for paucity of time, but let's say you want chest x-ray. You've got all of these chest x-ray algorithms. You want to run deep tech. You can choose what findings from deep tech you want to run. You want to run Columbo's, spine MR solution, you can do that, so on and so forth. You connect these, and then once data is put into this data set, it just runs across all the various AI applications that are out there. And then you can go into these deployment projects and actually start looking at some outputs. So for example, here we have core lines CAC estimation, algorithm. Again, this is in the CARPL viewer. This is what the regular scan looks like. You can just kind of scroll through it very quickly, just looking at the outputs, as you would in any case, right? And then, this particular application will give you a coronary artery calcium score. I'll just pull it in. Yeah, I think because of this, it's a little wonky. No worries. Yeah. So you can see, yeah, again, the idea is not to do a very stringent validation. The idea is just to look at these results one after the other and take a call, okay, do I feel this can be useful or not? This is Gleamer, another example. Again, you're just going through these results. You're seeing, okay, this works for me. This doesn't work for me. You're not actually casting an opinion on the performance of the AI as yet. This is Colombo, the spine MRI tool I was mentioning. You can just scroll through it. You can see, okay, I would like to have this. Again, you're not testing for performance. You are only doing a sense check on whether the AI algorithm would help or not. So this is Colombo. It creates a very nice report automatically. So yeah, so I'm going to pause here for questions, thoughts, comments, anything at all. Okay, I have a question I have a hand raised from Dr. Suresh Mukherjee. Uh, Suresh, I think you would just need to write in the chat panel. That's okay. I wonder if I can pull you in. Or can someone add Suresh to the webinar? I don't know. Maybe if that works, that would be awesome. Okay, so I have an anonymous question while that happens. Can I use the CARPL platform for building my own AI? Short answer is yes. It still requires a fair bit of integrations, etc. We are not an AI training platform. We integrate with other third-party training platforms. We've done integrations with AWS SageMaker, with Jupyter Labs, and similar kind of software. Azure ML is another one. So while you can use CARPL to train AI, we serve as the data layer, as the annotation layer. We don't actually believe that we can do a better job than Amazon or Google on how to train an AI algorithm. So yes. Okay, so question from Suresh. Dr. Suresh Mukherjee is, one of the most decorated neuroradiologists out there. Thank you, Suresh, for joining. What are your thoughts about the new foundational models? And will AI development versus AI technology that the current algorithms are created? So definitely foundational models are a game changer. There is no doubt. They have reduced the need for data as we look at creating AI. Uh, I think it is a step towards further democratization of AI, right? And what that means is that using a foundational model where you would earlier maybe need uh, a million scans to create a deep learning model, you can now possibly create similar models with a few thousand scans. So that is one very powerful thing. It's a step towards, Suresh, folks building their own AI, radiologists building their own AI and consuming it on actually building it on the fly and then consuming it on the fly as well. So it is truly a game changer. Next, we have a question from Dr. Bhanushree Behel, my closest colleague. Vidur, can you talk about the process of switching AIs? How much time does it take to plug an AI in and out? Well, if it's the same AI, uh, if you're doing an exploration study for one chest X-ray algorithm and then you want to do it on another, there is actually nothing, no time that it takes, right? Like the algorithms are pretty much always there for you to use. Of course, there is a scoping activity that we do prior to make sure that the infrastructure we've deployed the AI on, because generally we do these exploration studies in client premises, so no data leaves. But as long as the infra can support it, it's all instantaneous. Then we have another anonymous question. How is pricing from each tool handled? That is determined by the AI companies themselves. We sometimes guide them for new geographies, new types of clients, etc. But generally, it's from the AI companies. It's typically a per patient per scan pricing. That there is prices range anywhere from $1 to $10 depending on the use case. Um, then we have a question from Shruti. Shruti runs marketing and this webinar. What do you think makes AI adoption in radiology successful? And what separates hospitals or imaging centers that fully integrate AI from those that struggle? CARPL, obviously. Oh, well, I think and this is very much in line with today's topic, right? I think what makes AI adoption in radiology successful is for radiologists to be able to try out AI, right? There's so many folks out there wanting to get exposure to AI, but just cannot, and that is what we are trying to bring to the table, right? Where like at least play around, at least have an informed opinion, right, on these solutions. Good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter, but at least play around. Then we have a question from another anonymous attendee. Are institutions looking for a single AI solution that covers multiple use cases, or do they prefer a mix and match marketplace model? I think uh, given the amount of work that happens in a hospital, there is no choice but to use multiple solutions from multiple vendors. It is impossible for one vendor to create all the AI that is out needed in a clinical setting, right? If you just look at the number of body parts, number of modalities, and number of pathologies that exist out there, you will get the index column of the book of any radiology book, which is like, it can be thousands of combinations of this. So very unlikely that a single AI solution can cover multiple use cases, and thereby lies the answer where institutions are also preferring multiple vendors. It's also, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, especially in such an evolving field. You don't know where the best solution is going to come from. And again, DeepSeek is a profound example of the same. Uh, then we have a question from Fernando Lopez. Can you talk more about how one can compare similar AI solutions and why is it important? Fernando, there will be a full session on this next week, same time. which will be our validation platform. I would encourage you to attend that. But yes, essentially, it just means you take a bunch of data, run it through multiple AI solutions, and then look at both clinical and statistical insights on both. I will go deeper into that because there's a full session on this particular subject next week. How do hospitals and imaging centers worry about explainability? Very, 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 very good question. That ties into the exploration subject as well. Explainability is a no-brainer and is a almost a prerequisite to use AI. Of course, the FDA has a different view of it, right? Because the FDA considers explainability to be a suggestion to the radiologist around the localization of a lesion, right? But I think as practitioners, as users of AI, you should be very wary of solutions that do not give you some kind of a heat map or an explainability. So it is very very, very critical, because that's the layer of trust, right? Otherwise you're just saying that this patient has cancer. Why does the patient have cancer? Because AI says so, which is not gonna fly, to be honest. What kind of data sanitization is needed to be done before running it through AI? I will cover this in the deployment piece. Really, really sorry. I think that is 20th of February. Please do join there. It'll be great. Uh, then your advice to an AI vendor on how to differentiate themselves in the market. Oh, well, this is a very, very good question. I think build something that no one else is building is what I would say. And build something useful. I know it sounds very obvious, uh, but it is actually true. A lot of people build AI because they get access to certain data sets, uh, and because they get access to the data sets, they build a solution around it. So it's not really built because somebody needs it. It's built because you could build it. Don't do that. Not anymore. Like, now there's enough data available out there. So yeah, build something that is useful and that nobody else has built. Would be my short answer to that. Suresh says, will these be available to watch later? Yes, Suresh, there is a full YouTube channel dedicated to this. I will, if somebody from my team could just put that in the chat, the link to that, it would be great. All 38 episodes are there, so it's all available there. Swapnil Patel is asking, how does CARPL integrate and how much dependency on the technical support? Full session on this, Swapnil, on 20th of February. I would encourage attending that. Short answer is, we have obviously dependency on technical support. There's a lot of security stuff that goes in, a lot of infrastructure and integrations that go in, but you only need to go through it once, right? But full session on that on 20th. What is a better AI output? A probability score versus a simple yes and no. The FDA does not allow a probability score. The FDA needs you to draw a threshold and then say yes or no. That said, for validation purposes, probability scores work best. You can get an AUC curve. But regulation today demands that you freeze the threshold at which you say yes or no. So I'm not sure that's the answer you were looking at, but that is how it is. Um, and question from anonymous attendee: when hospitals and imaging centers evaluate AI vendors, what are the top three criteria they prioritize? Performance, price, utility. Simple. And then we have few questions in the chat. Uh, Thanks for interesting talk. This is from Takehito Matsuba. You briefly mentioned validation. Do you run validation by referring to scientific research papers? Takehito, there is going to be a full session on this next week. I think it's the 6th of February, if I'm not wrong. Please do attend that. It would be really wonderful. This is Osborne Pereira. Coming from a neuro research background, I was wondering if these scans require to be registered to a general atlas, or is this subjective to the models you submit to? We don't really care. How the model is developed, what it does at the back end. I get where you're coming from. Like most neuro models, functional MRI, structural MRI, etc., all get mapped to an atlas. It doesn't matter to us. From an AI exploration perspective, we are basically giving data, the AI is running, and then some kind of output is coming in. So we don't really care much about that. And yes, that is it. And I am going to be sending this link to to everyone. This is the YouTube link to attend all of these sessions. And thank you so much for joining. We have one question from Swapnil just popped in. Considering a scenario, I use multiple AI solutions from different vendors on CARPL. Who is accountable for the SLA, CARPL or the AI vendor? CARPL. Very, very clear, Swapnil, on that. It is CARPL that is responsible for uptime, both technical, clinical, etc. We handle what is called level 1 and level 2 support in these scenarios. In the interest of time, I will be taking your leave, but always ends up being more engaging than I think. So thank you so much, and see you next week, same time. See ya.